afternoon. This is the knitting news from Knit Happens Teesside for the 4th week in January 2024. Last night at knitting, Jill she brought with her, actually Jill and Fee, I've mentioned before, both made something with, and they both acquired sort of wool from an antique fair, like a craft fair or a charity shop, and it was so close in colour. It was like knickers pink, old ladies knickers pink was it they were calling it. Anyway, it was very close in colour, and so they had a bit of a compare. So she's made a vintage lace cardigan pattern that she doesn't like, but she hasn't blocked it. So when she blocks it, I think it'll look a lot nicer. And it's like a short sleeve with a rib on. Fee's made a shawl, which I did mention before, that's garter stitch, that's got, bobbles, but it looks like pig's nipples. And they're supposed to be random, but when you're trying to do something random and it isn't random at all, when you have a look at it, it's just not random. So she wasn't. I think she's going to paint it or something. I think she said she was going to dye it, but I quite like it how it is. And it's a little bit rough. It's like the Shetland, some of the Shetland wool, but I think once she's blocked hers, it'll bloom. It's that kind of wool. So Jill was wearing an electric blue, a bit like that colour there, mohair sweater that was Kim Hargreaves pattern with like a nice sort of a slash neck, ballerina neck, is it? It had flutes at the cuffs, and she had a diamante brooch on that was sparkly, and she looked really quite fabulous, really. So what was she knitting? Oh, she was knitting some newly acquired yarn I think it's a hand-dyed sock yarn. So it's pink and orange and purple with maybe bits of white as well. And she's knitting another lace cardigan, and I have taken a picture of it, so I'll put that in here. Andy was there. Andy's still making her poncho that's made up of big long strips of different textures of knitting, different patterns. And I've spoken about it so many times. Well, this time I've actually got a picture of that too. So I could probably, apart from the bit she was actually knitting, the bits that are finished, the 2 pieces that she's finished, I've got a picture of. So she was knitting the next one, which has got it's a bit like a helter-skelter kind of pattern on it. It's different than the first 2. But she's going to have to look for some more yarn that's something similar that'll, I think there may be some silk in it. It's a very sort of a smooth, very fine yarn. A lot of knitting. Yeah, a lot of knitting in that one. Danielle was there. She was doing a little bit of work on a shawl, but she was only really there to pick a boyfriend up because the boyfriend works there. And so she came and sat and had a drink with us. But she was quite tired because she'd been to work. Fiona was made. Now, I was looking over the table at Fiona and wondering. Well, she was working with DPNs and it looked like a sock that she was knitting. But the toe was different and it looked like, well, I was right. But it just looked peculiar hanging down from her needles, and it was like a flip-flop sock, where the big toe's separate than the other toes. So that's what Fiona was making, Fee. She's already done one, and she made the pattern up herself, and she finished it ages ago. So the second one's not the same as the first one. But it looks all right to me. So there's a picture of that as well. I'll put a picture of them on. Helen was plotting and planning and scheming for her new bits and bobs of wool that she's got. She's finished her blanket, which is a lap blanket. So it's pretty much the same, just carried on as what I'd already showed you. Oh, that's nice. A big close-up of my arm. This is Talk to Me Tea It was Shotty Magic something. And when I opened the box, there's all these different flavours. And I love a flavoured tea, anything. I would drink any tea, more or less. Except for Earl Grey, which is poison. I had a phase of that and that's ended now. A long, long time ago. Can't be doing with it. This is licorice, which is my favourite. Mint and lavender. I'm not sure if I can smell the lavender. Might be slightly off-putting. But it's nice. It's very nice. So I was making my shawl, which I hadn't shown them for a couple of weeks, and it was only at the very beginning the last time they saw it, so they were quite impressed with that. It is going to be sort of a long-term job, and I'm choosing to put it on my videos because that will encourage me to keep on as well. And it's kind of a legacy shawl for me because there will be a lot of knitting in it. I have done what I said I was going to do, but I haven't done quite as much as I did last week. But the colours are blending, aren't they? That looks nice. So this top I'm wearing is made from Cedar Hush, which is like, it's similar, but it's got like a sparkle through it. Don't want to be too well lit, do I? Which is kind of a kid silk haze. Now I've got this little bit left, so I thought it might just take the transition from the green through to the turquoise, because the sparkle in it is kind of a turquoise colour, and there's not, it's what's left over from this. There's not very much, but it will give me a little bit of a stripe. It will give me another colour. So it's that one, and then it's that one. But it might be actually, I don't think there's enough there. It could be that one in between, that one first. But I think actually, no. We'll see, won't we? The only other thing that I have knitted on this week is this. And as you can see, I was about there. So I've only done a couple of inches. Well, that doesn't matter, does it? I just haven't had that much knitting time this week. It's the way it's been. So this cardigan, this Cedar Hush cardigan, I made it to wear over a dress at a wedding, and the weather was so warm. I had it on for about 2 minutes. It's got like a lace panel on the back as well, which I really like. When you look in shops at jumpers and cardigans and knitwear, even sweatshirts and dresses, isn't it awful when all the details on the front and the back's plain? I never buy anything like that. I think it's dreadful. Cheapskates. This is Roxy. She's as much of a soft dollop as she looks. How you doing, Roxy? Hey? There's the camera there. She's a bit of a scruff, isn't she? So Roxy's not got the best teeth, because before we got her, she had a load of puppies, didn't you? 8 you had. 8 puppies! And then we bought her, when we got her, we bought her a hard thing to chomp on. And I don't think your teeth were up to it, were they? They weren't. She not got the best breath. She got the longest legs and she'll have to go. Update on the cat. Let me see. We came in from a walk the other day, and instead of, well, there was nobody else to greet, but sometimes they come and greet the person who's sitting in the living room. But they greeted the cat, the dogs, one by one. They came running in and went, "We're here, we're back, we went out, we did our way." And then Roxy was playing with a squeaky toy, and she took that over to the cat and plonked it on the sofa in front of her. But the cat wasn't particularly interested. They get some little chews, the sticks, made of fish shaped into sticks, and they snap. So I snap one of them up and they all get a piece, so they share it, so the cat and the dogs get the same thing. So that's quite nice. I think eventually she might join them on the dog bed, and if she does, you'll get to know about it. I don't think I mentioned it quickly enough, because the Two Sisters and Some Yarns murder mystery knit along is drawing to a close. But I'm sure everybody would still really like to read the story, if just that. But actually, I haven't read it all. I've read up to about the 3rd section, I think. But I haven't. I did guess who'd been murdered and by whom on the 2nd instalment, and well, the person I thought was the murderer was murdered, so I'm not doing very well. I could just swap them round, but I haven't done any more guessing. I've been a bit lax with that, and I do need to read the rest. But I thoroughly enjoyed the story, and I have a question for Amy when if I get to speak to her at some point. I'd like to thank people for subscribing, because I've got a few new subscribers this week and I'm doing quite well, so that's nice. So, more news maybe next week.